Okay, this is a quick explanation of how to AutoCal an A to D converter, basically using code to adjust the output to match what's actually at the input. Typically, you'll do 2 points, and you put in one input and you get a corresponding output, and then you put in another input and you get a corresponding output. And from that, you can come up with an equation which basically gives you basically adjusts the output. D times what plus any offset will give you what's actually at the input. Backing up a little bit here, so this is a function as A of the output being DO, so for AN you get a certain DO. In this case it's offset for bipolar function. But we're actually looking at it, since we want to find out D times what plus any offset will give us what's actually at the input, and we can use that in code to get that value. So we need to kind of look at it for the other direction. So we're solving for A now, so we're basically going to flip the axis. And so now we're finding X D times what will give us A. And it's a linear function. It's digital too. You don't see it, but there'll be little steps because it's a digital input. Or in this, well, it's a digital output, but in this, since we're looking backwards, it's a digital input. And if we have 1 point, we would have D and 0, but we have 2 unknowns. So in order to actually find out a function for A that lines up the output with the input, we need to have 2 equations. 2 unknowns. So once again, I said, so we're taking 2 points. We're going to put in an input, let's say 5 volts, and we get a corresponding digital output. And then we switch it to another voltage, say 0, and we get a corresponding digital output. And those will basically give us 2 points on a line. So we can, from that, get the slope. Like I said, I put in A, so this equation corresponds to this, and this equation corresponds to this. And we have the slope plus X, or D in this case, plus any offset. So we have basically now we have 2 unknowns, A and D, and we have we have 2 knowns, A and D, and we have 2 unknowns. So we can go ahead and solve it. So basically, like I said, this lines up. These correspond to D and A correspond to points on a line, which was the function we want to line it up with. So from that, we can get the slope, rise over run. And then we can also compute B, and we get an overall equation that translates the output to the input, so we get the correct analog input based on the digital reading. That's actually, by the way, we're measuring these values, so we want the actual value at the input. So basically we come up with a function of AN equals the slope, which in this case would be A1 minus A2 over D1 minus D2. And then, so as you can see here, that's it for that. Thank you.